Welcome, everyone, to the new season of We Built This White Lake. My name is Stephanie Ware, Executive Director with the White Lake Area Chamber and Visitors Bureau, and I am so excited today to be joined by my friends from HarborLight Credit Union. I have Justin Bamford with me and Heather Carr. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. We will go ahead and jump right in. Go ahead and share with us a little bit about what it is that you do with HarborLight Credit Union and what it is that HarborLight Credit Union as a whole does.
I'll let you go first.
Ooh, yay. So I am the Chief Technology Officer at HarborLight. I spend a lot of time working through the back side of things where if something doesn't work right, I'm there to help. If there's questions or there's just weird situations that arise, I'm there to give that level of support. What does HarborLight do for us in the community? So HarborLight has been around a really long time, 71 years this year. And our specialty is just to be out and provide as much as we can to help our community grow financially and as a whole community together. We like to participate in a lot of the events around the chamber events and just be present so people know that we're here to help them.
And I'm Justin Bamford. I'm the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. So really means my primary responsibilities are strategy for the credit union. I oversee our executive team, so Heather, our CTO, and then our COO and CFO, and a couple of others, and have recently also taken on overseeing our marketing and community engagement initiatives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us, now we can get into kind of the history of it, the 71-year history. Tell us a little bit about how it started and where it all began.
Great. Well, I actually stopped by my office this morning to grab a little prop for today, and I forgot that Stephanie, our COO, had grabbed it for a project she's working on for management school. But it all goes back to a little gray box that started at Precision Casting Company in 1954. So it's actually literally a file-size wooden gray box that still sits in my office most days. Stephanie has it today, but it was started by some employees at the credit union, at Precision Casting, who they needed to pool their resources and basically save some money and then be able to loan it out to each other because their needs weren't being met through the other financial services that were available. So that's kind of the whole credit union philosophy. Just started by some people in the shop with a little box pooling resources, and that was 1954. From there, I think we changed names to Misco Credit Union in the 60s and then to Howmet Employees Credit Union in 1990 and merged in a couple of other credit unions along the way. Local credit unions, Hooker and Whitehall Leather credit unions were merged in along the way. I moved over to Mears Avenue and were there for 45 years before we moved on over to the main office where we're at now in 1999. So I'll give Heather a chance to fill in some of that history because she's been there for a little bit more of it than I have in my 6.5 years at the credit union.
That was a lot of it. We started based as what is now Howmet, their credit union. We, like you said, absorbed a couple of other industries in the area as well. But the biggest part, my favorite part, is the box sat on the corner of a desk and people would come and throw money in or borrow money out. And obviously there was a little more to that, but that was the whole base of what we are now. And that's still how it works. People bring their money in and we're able to share that to help others that don't have it at that moment. And it's such a great feeling to be able to share and support others.
Absolutely. And I think we moved over to our main office in 1999 and kind of finish out the history piece. We changed our name to HarborLight Credit Union in 2008 when we went from being just a employer-based credit union, a seg-based credit union, to more of a community charter so more people could join. And then we opened up our other branch location in Whitehall in 2017.
That's amazing. I had no idea about that. It was just a group of employees who were like, we don't like how it's being done, so we're going to do it different.
Yep.
That's the credit union way. I mean, it started with European farmers and people in Germany who started the credit union movement. It moved over here to the East Coast in the late 19th century, and it was really just farmers pooling their money as a cooperative, member-owned organization so that they could actually loan each other money and meet their needs that they couldn't find elsewhere.
That's amazing.
Something cool I learned too is that some of the foreign credit unions, their employees are volunteers. They don't even get paid. They just volunteer to be a part of that cooperative.
You get paid?
I know. I didn't know that. Shoot.
That's an amazing story. So over the 71 years, and even just in the years that both of you have been with the business, what would you say are some of the biggest hurdles that HarborLight Credit Union has had to overcome?
Ooh.
Well, I know one
Wanna
big
jump in?
one is, I'm going to say it, the banks. Not so much locally, but there's such a movement because banks are governed different than credit unions, and that causes a lot of friction with some of the, I can't even think of the right word, some of the opportunities that we have that they may not have. And it has been a battle for, the 30 years I've been here. It's always, they're after us again, or, this is changing because we are special, because we're special. No.
And I'll jump in on that. I mean, at its core, it's that credit unions are tax exempt from federal income tax because of how we're organized, because we're member owned and not for profit cooperatives. So our tax exempt status is constantly under attack. I will say that we get along very well with our friends at
Right.
Shelby State Bank here locally and other similarly minded community focused community banks and financial institutions, but there's a lot of pressure at the state and federal trade association levels from the larger banks on looking at our tax exempt status, which there's arguments around the services that we provide when it's actually back to the fact that we're member owned and not for profit and we're a cooperative.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I have to throw in there COVID. We hate to say the word COVID, but for another hurdle that we've had to face, obviously, it's probably pretty cliche. You hear it from others, but I go back to, I think it was September 23rd, 2020. Governor Whitmer ordered the stay safe, stay home executive order and basically said anybody who's not a critical essential infrastructure worker has to go home. And we had started to deploy some laptops prior to that, but we're still primarily working on desktops and weren't set up for remote work. So I heard that and immediately went right to Muskegon, to Best Buy, and bought every laptop I could find in Muskegon and sent them to our IT folks and said, get these things hardened and up and ready to go so we could figure out how to deploy remote work. So that was obviously a huge challenge. Just as we all remember, it was, stay home for a couple of weeks and flatten the curve. And that turned into a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And, the challenges for a relatively small organization without a huge, dedicated HR and compliance staff, it was all hands in to figure out the ever-changing landscape of executive orders and conflicting state and federal protocols and who had to do what for isolation and all those things. So I'm so thankful for our team who jumped in and navigated all those things and allowed us to continue to serve our members through shutting down our lobbies, having to shut down a branch, having people at home. It was quite the challenge, and I'm so thankful it's in the rearview mirror.
Yep.
Absolutely. And you're right. We do hear it from businesses, but that's because, there's just not a single person in almost the entire world, really, that wasn't impacted by 2020. And, businesses had to pivot a lot. And so it is a very real thing. So while we do hear it, it was different for everyone, how it impacted them. It impacted them. How it impacted them was different. So, yeah, people had to be quick, like running to Best Buy and buying every laptop. So
Absolutely.
yes, thankful that is in the rearview mirror. However, with the hurdles, hopefully there are way more victories to celebrate along the way. What would you say are some of the biggest victories?
I want to say one of my favorites is that we had student-run credit unions and had a huge youth involvement with the schools. And unfortunately, COVID sort of put a little wedge in that. And we're working on trying to get that back up and running now that everybody's got what is the new normal, I guess you could say. And that is a piece that there's just something about the excitement when you have the energy of youth. and how we can help them just discover what they are going to be impacted by in the next few years as they transition from a school to a college to a career to life, and helping them learn what all those pieces of it is financially.
I would have loved something like that when I was in school.
It's so
Me
important.
too.
And COVID just shut all that down. Obviously, we couldn't be in the schools, and then trying to figure out how to do those sorts of things, run a credit union virtually in a school was a challenge. So now we're back in with the schools for the state of Michigan passed a new requirement for 1/2 credit of financial literacy education for all high schoolers that I think goes into effect officially this year. And we are working with both Whitehall and Montague high schools and middle schools to help out with their curriculum and do some presentations and support those sorts of classes, as well as some other things to support the schools. So that's obviously a huge victory to overcome the challenges of COVID there. And that was what I was going to jump in on. It was just, COVID was a huge challenge, but there were some victories to come out of it. We weren't set up for remote or hybrid work prior to that, and now we have 30% or so of our workforce who's still on remote hybrid work, and they can work from home and come in when needed and support that flexible lifestyle for families, which is a huge victory for our organization when we really prioritize work-life balance and family and taking care of people's mental, emotional well-being first. So I think that's been a huge victory, and Heather's overseen a lot of our digital journey along the way with making sure that our online banking, mobile application, website, e-branch, chat, all those channels that are now demanded by consumers coming through COVID is, having everything and having it now and being able to do it on your phone. Heather's done a great job leading the team to beef up our offerings there, and that's been a huge improvement as well through that obstacle.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and that's important because, I think sometimes people might say, well, if it's a local smaller company, they might not have the same as a larger company. But you guys can say, no, we do. We totally have that, and especially during COVID, I'm sure there were people who were like, I will never do online banking, who were forced into online banking, and being able to stay with the company they've already been with and trust is huge. So yeah, that's awesome. It's you guys.
Absolutely. I think it's a great time to jump in and say, yeah, we do offer all the technology and products and services that you can find at a large bank out there, but we really hope to differentiate in just having people who are passionate about showing up to work every day to actually help people and make a difference in their lives and live out our mission of improving people's financial well-being. So we're really trying to make sure everybody knows that's what we're here for. That's what people come to work for. And we do personalized, tailored service to really meet people where their needs are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun when I'm not in the front side of things so much anymore, but I'll be walking out and I'll hear somebody get greeted by name, which doesn't sound like anything huge. It happens everywhere, but just knowing, and then you hear the conversations that start up, and it's those conversations that are, I don't want to say unique to us, but you build those relationships, and that's what's unique. And we do a couple events. We have a community picnic in the summer. We have an Easter egg hunt. We have the expo.
Yes.
That is coming up, the business
Yes.
expo. And just being able to be out and about and seeing people from the credit union when you're out and about. My kids are great at, well, who's that? And I'm like, shh, just give me a second to get away. There's that privacy bit there too. I'm like, oh, it's just somebody I know from somewhere,
Yes.
But it's fun to see people and be able to know when you're able to help them through tough situations or great situations.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're getting married and they just need, how does this work? How do I get my soon-to-be husband or wife on the account, and what does that look like? And just all of those different life events that we're able to help people with. It's a really great feeling to serve.
Or sometimes they're getting a truck loan
Correct.
through a credit union, and they haven't had to do that before, and they're not familiar. This is a true story. We just had that happen. We got a truck loan in the last year, and unfortunately, life happened and the truck is no more. And but it's just been such a seamless process working with HarborLight. I know my husband has said a couple times, like, would we even know what to do? Like, if we couldn't just call and talk to someone, because you don't really know how to plan for a lot of those things until it happens and you have to. And so it's just been such a great relationship. We've appreciated knowing that we don't really have to worry about it. It'll just work itself out because we have someone who knows what is happening. So,
Right.
Yeah.
That's huge. And I mean, just to pigtail on what, or dovetail, excuse me, piggyback on what Heather
I know what
Heather
you're
said.
saying.
Pigtail. I don't think we have any of those in the room. I certainly don't. I think it's really important to say a lot of financial institutions, especially through the challenges in staffing that a lot of companies are facing coming out of COVID. That's been a huge challenge in the change in staffing and finding and keeping people. I think a lot of financial institutions have gone to technology to replace people and put the ITMs or ATMs in their lobbies, and then there aren't as many people around. And while I feel that we're doing a good job of moving toward those sorts of things with our technology, I never want to be an organization where we replace people with machines and don't always have those experts who are there to help people and develop those relationships and take them in a room and take that extra time to sit down and figure out what's really going on and walk people through the whole process. So I think that's where we try to excel.
Yeah, it is something that I know we've been really good at. We call it hand holding, which can go one way or the other depending on how you look at it. But it's something that's important to us as we are able to help walk you through experiences that can be nerve-wracking to, or just when you're uninformed. You know, it's an experience you've never had before. So just trying to navigate all of that is really stressful sometimes. And we're here to help make it easier.
This lady has a servant's heart, right? She's been at the credit union for at least a couple of years, and you know, people are used to seeing her face and her doing everything for them. And it's been one of my challenges is, you know, trying to keep Heather back in the technology space out of the member-facing area, working on our strategy and larger projects while still allowing her to have that servant's heart. And there's so many people, not just for her, but others who've been with our organization a long time who may be in leadership or executive roles now. They're like, oh, so-and-so is here for Heather to balance their checkbook and pay all their bills for the month and, you know, take them back and give them that personalized, you know, quote unquote, personal banker service that they've gotten at the credit union for lots of years. So it's great.
Well, and the community does love Heather. I've seen it firsthand this past year at the community picnic. I seem to remember you sliding into the foam.
Oh, yeah, that was a
foam
lot
scramble.
of fun.
That was, I believe, maybe one of your family members had me recorded. I don't remember how that
I'm
happened,
sure
but
they did. It'll show up in random places.
But hey, just being in the community, people had fun.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
It is. Well, we've kind of already answered this, but please elaborate on it. How would you say HarborLight Credit Union has impacted the community?
That's Heather touched on a lot of it already. I mean, you know, we're everywhere. We try to be everywhere. While we try to narrow our focus and support our main initiatives at the same time. But, you know, she touched on, you know, if we look at it going kind of throughout the year, we've done an ice fishing tournament in the winter for charity. We've done the winter Wonderland or Winterfest things during the winter. We do the Easter egg roll. We do the community picnic, which is also for charity, pairing up with some other organizations in the community. We do the 4th of July parade, the Christmas parade, our member picnic, Fall Fest, trunk or treats. So just some of the events, the business expo you had referenced, along with just partnering with other organizations for service projects, sponsorships, monetary donations. One of the best things we did last year was taking over a Whitehall football game. So we went for a senior night for the Whitehall football game and just did a takeover where we sent a whole team out and we got to go out on the field and throw a bunch of swag into the audience and had a couple of big giveaways for cool prizes and you know, got to do a sponsorship there. So that was fun. That was a blast.
That's fun. I do see you guys everywhere, it feels like. I see you guys everywhere. And I always love seeing, it does feel like you always pick a like a county local nonprofit to partner with.
Yep.
And some months it's like the whole month, or it's a specific event like the picnic, and it's always fun to see. I love seeing that. And then it brings more engagement out for people because maybe that particular cause really touches them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's awesome.
Yeah, we try to support obviously local charities. We're headquartered in Muskegon County, but we service Muskegon, Oceana, Ottawa, and Newaygo counties. So trying to spread that out and partner with organizations throughout our field of membership. Last year it was 8 different charitable organizations we paired with. So 2 a quarter, one for monetary donations and sponsorships, and the other for charities of service. So trying to get the team out to do service projects to help out the charities, those sorts of things. So that's really hopefully why everybody shows up to work every day, is to serve the community and have fun and just be together with folks. And it's a good time.
It is a good time.
You guys always look like you're having fun, so that's important.
Life's too short not to have a little bit of fun at work.
I agree. So if you guys could leave people with one parting message, what is it that you want the community to know about HarborLight Credit Union that maybe they don't already know?
Do you want to take this one first or no?
Sure. So I know that we're a lot of places. One of the things that we are excited for this year is we are really picking up financial wellness and trying to help promote it and spread it throughout the community. So we have a rock star, Donna, who's going to be out and about along with Jesse, who we use right now as well, just trying to make sure that we're out in the community to the businesses and around, letting people know that we're here and how we can help. And we've got a lot of staff that are going through some training and classing and schooling, I guess is a better word, testing, that are going to become FICEP certified. And in short, that just means that we're here to help you understand your specific financial wellness as an individual, or we can help with business needs for their employees as well. And it's just something that's coming out, and it's new. It is taking like the youth part that we've had and amplifying it and reaching out to the parents or just adults, no matter what stage of life you're in, and trying to do that same awareness. So it's exciting. Stay tuned.
It is exciting, and that's you picked the one I wanted to focus on. So,
Sorry.
That's great. Really, we're all about financial wellness and financial education. So just having multiple staff members who are already certified as they're basically certified credit union financial counselors, and then sending most of the rest of staff through that this year. I'm currently in process, and we have a bunch of other team members as well. So that gives people the ability to actually understand and recognize where people are at wherever they are in their financial journey, and figure out how to provide that tailored financial wellness support. So whether it's how to make a budget, or budget counseling, or debt consolidation, or how to build a great credit score, or how to plan for retirement, those sorts of things, we want to make sure that our staff is armed to help people wherever they are. And we're going to get out and talk about that and be everywhere to help people.
I'm going to throw in there too, it's also to help them recover from events. We've been through divorces or a death in the family, or we've got such a great staff base that have experienced all sorts of different life events, and learning from high school, the credit card trap, I guess is the best way you can say it. That was the best PG version I could come up with. Anyways, we've been through a lot of different experiences in life, and we're just trying to make it so that it's, again, we're able to help hold your hand through that experience, because some of them are detrimental and some of them are embarrassing. Some of them are overwhelming. And we just want to let you know that we're here to help you.
That's awesome.
She said it best.
Well, good. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I'm excited for people to hear more about your story and your history, and really what it is you guys do in the community, because you're in the community a lot. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. We really appreciate it.
thank you guys for coming. And that is our kickoff to season 5 of We Built This White Lake. So we'll see you next time.